there, this is Toy Customizer Wake Angel 2001, bringing you a commission for Davin. It is Emerl, the Gizoid. First introduced to us in the Sonic fighting game on the Game Boy Advance, Sonic Battle. An underappreciated gem that actually is one of my favorite titles for that particular console. So I think this is the most appropriate time to cover the backstory of the Gizoids for a little bit. Now, as we all know, the sequel to Sonic Battle was Sonic Advance 3, the last major Sonic title for the Game Boy Advance, where Emerl was reintroduced to us, rebuilt into Gemerl. Gemerl became a recurring boss character in the game, where he became progressively more powerful each time you encountered him, until he, became the game's final boss, so you fought him as Super Sonic. The game pretty much ended with the Gemerl washing up on the beach, where he was recovered by Cream and rebuilt by Tails to be friendly. As far as we know, he currently lives with Cream and Vanilla, and has completed his story arc. It's a nice little happily ever after tale. And so far we haven't seen him again, so we can just assume that he's living the domestic life. Of course, even that wasn't the end of the Gizoids. No, because the Gizoids would be prominent in one more Sonic title, a slightly more flawed but still underappreciated gem from the DS called Sonic Chronicles: The Dark Brotherhood. It was revealed in this game that the backstory of the Gizoids would be that they were invented by the Nocturnus clan, a tribe of echidnas that were rivals to the famous Knuckles clan from the Sonic Adventure game. The one that Tikal came from. Yes, it turns out that the Nocturnus clan were poised to conquer the world with an army of sentient robots they called the Gizoids, only for some mysterious power which never got a full explanation. I think they were waiting for a sequel which never came, that pulled them into the Twilight Cage, a timeless realm where they would be imprisoned and prevented from conquering the planet. So, in this game, we actually got to see many other variants of the Gizoids, including two new ones that would get names, including Prefect Celia and Prefect Cherub. Prefect, of course, being a note of rank for the Nocturnus clan, meaning that these guys actually gained enough sentience to become, ranking officers in the Nocturnus clan's army. That's a nice little equal opportunity there, just because you're an artificial intelligence doesn't mean you're going to be discriminated against. We'd also see these really awesome Gizoid Guardians, which were part of the final boss fight. It is kind of awesome. But yeah, it turns out that Emerl was actually the only Gizoid who wasn't taken into the Twilight Cage with the Nocturnus clan, and he was recovered by, So, yeah, when they said that Emerl destroyed a civilization in the past, which was part of his backstory for Sonic Battle, it turns out that he wasn't really directly responsible. It was just that his construction had caused something to take his civilization away, and from the outside perspective, it meant that they were destroyed. Although they weren't really destroyed, they were just hidden. Which was, well, in all truth, the Nocturnus clan was supposed to be the video game's answer to the Dark Legion from the comic book series. I don't know, they use a lot more of the comic tropes in Sonic Chronicles. I think that's why I liked it so much, because it seemed like they were trying to put elements from the comic book series into the video games, which I thought was kind of cool. The only other time they ever did that was with the little cameos of Sally, Bunny, and Rotor in Sonic Spinball, and eventually sticking, chili dogs in like Sonic Generations and Sonic and the Black Knight. I'm just rambling. So yeah, let's actually talk about making this toy then. The problem is that I didn't really just make this toy. I actually made it quite a while ago. Actually, I made it for Davin quite a while ago. He had planned on commissioning an Emerl from me, and I got as far as making him. Here's a picture of how I made him back then. But I I decided not to sell him because I was absolutely not satisfied with the way he came out. Because back then I still used Super Sculpey, the things like his shoulder pads kept on crumbling when I tried to move his arms. After I painted him, he got really sticky and never stopped being sticky. It was really bad. I mean, take a look at the head, which is the only part I saved. It just got really covered in every bit of dust and hair that just happened to touch it. This figure got really gross. I mean, I would not feel comfortable selling something like this. It just does not feel comfortable for me. So I ended up not selling him way back then, but then Davin really wanted his Emerl, so I picked up the pieces and I cut off all the Sculpey from the base figure and re-sculpted it back on with the epoxy sculpt and gave it a totally new paint job. Here's the new head next to the old one to show the differences in the paintwork. For the record, I still do not like working with the Star Wars pit droid to make Gizoids. This is not a very good figure. It has everything I hate. Limited articulation, a pre-assumed pose. Quite frankly, the legs are too close together to allow the calves to have a proper amount of clearance between themselves. It's just not really a good custom base. And the shoulders are a real pain too. There's so much friction in there that when you try to move the arms, instead of the peg actually moving inside the torso, it's just going to twist the plastic because the plastic doesn't want to move on itself. It's really not a good figure for customizing. I'm going to try making a Gizoid out of an Imaginext Battle Droid figure. I think that might work better. I'm not sure how the proportions will work out, but they gotta be better than this thing, because I really don't like this figure. And if anybody asks me for a Gizoid in the future, I am outright refusing to use a Star Wars pit droid for it. You know, I have my pride as an artist, and I'm not gonna keep on forcing myself to use this crappy figure. Davin really insisted on it, but I'm drawing the line from this point on. No more Battle Droid customs. Okay, this is Toy Customizer Wake Angel 2001 signing off.